I'm Bobby Duffy. I'm a Professor of Public Policy and Director of the Policy Institute at King's College, London. And last year we did a great piece of research for National Numeracy Day where we did a large survey of the general public, 2,000 people, to try and understand their attitudes and beliefs about numeracy. And I'd like to sum it up, I think, in just really 4 key words where we can see the different patterns among different parts of the population. And one of the patterns that we find is that some people have overconfidence in their numerical ability. So over a third of those who rated their maths and numeracy as good actually scored less than the level that we'd expect for primary school children. So within one section of the population, we're probably not as aware as we should be of the limitations of our numeracy abilities. But at the other end of the spectrum, some people are too anxious about their numeracy abilities, particularly women. The percentage of people who say that maths and numbers makes them feel anxious is about 20% overall in the population, but that varies a lot between men and women, with 3 in 10 women saying that numbers and mathematics make them feel anxious, only around 1 in 10 men. And it actually has an effect on people's lives. So 1 in 4 people across the whole population would be deterred from applying for a job if it listed using numbers and data as a requirement. This is not a theoretical limitation on people. This does actually affect people's lives, their life's chances. And again, it's more likely to be women who will be put off from applying for jobs if they specify that they need maths. This is on slide 3. Again, this is particularly among women. People are fatalistic about their sense of whether they can improve. You can see that in responses to questions like whether you think you're a numbers person or not. So overall, about 3 in 10 people think they're not numbers people. But that varies again between men and women, where 4 in 10 women think that they are not numbers people. It's a huge proportion of the population, female population, who think they're just not numbers people. And that's not correct. That is not what all the evidence, all the science shows, is that we can learn these capabilities. So that sense of fatalism is a misperception among people. It is a skill that can be learned. Then the 4th and final word that I wanted to highlight is undervalued in many senses among people. And you can see that in responses to when we ask people to just imagine they were thinking about their own child, what would make them most proud of them. Incredibly, 50% of people say that being good at reading and writing would make them particularly proud of their child. But only 20%, around 20% of people say that they would be particularly proud if they were very good at numbers. And as someone who's a numbers person, that's quite a shocking pattern. But it's also because it's so important to people's progression and lives. Another of the questions that we asked people was around whether numeracy, mathematics, was important in a whole series of different professions. And there were lots of those professions where it is key. Things like anything in the anything with interacting with the public when you are taking money from the public, any of the kind of consumer occupations, all of those types of occupations have mathematical ability as a key part of their role. But that's not the perception among people. So we undervalue it all the way from how we see it as important in our children's education and then excelling at mathematics, and all the way through our lives in terms of how it affects our capability to do different jobs. So they're the key themes that came out of the research. 4 key points. First, there's an element of us that are overconfident, that think we are better than we really are, and we could probably do with brushing up on our maths capabilities and maths and numeracy capabilities. But then there's a big chunk of us that are too anxious about our mathematics and how we can apply that in real life that is curtailing our experience. Underlying that, the 3rd theme is that we're too fatalistic. We think that is unchangeable when all the evidence says that it can be changed. And then finally, we need that motivation to do something about it. And while we undervalue maths and numeracy abilities, that's less likely to come through. So we need to really work on the sense of this is valuable to people. And that's what I think National Numeracy Day is so important, because it addresses all of those aspects of dealing with people's anxiety about it, making people believe that there's something they can do about it, and emphasizing the importance of it, that this is something that is worth improving. I'm Bobby Duffy, and I'm a numbers person.